Chapter 19, Mounting Controversy. This week we reread Matthew's Gospel, this time with different eyes. Last week we noticed the Jewish orientation, the genealogy from Abraham, the birth narrative, the Exodus from Egypt, just like the Hebrew people under Joseph, the account of Prophet John the Baptist, even the arrangement of the Gospel into 5 sections like the Pentateuch. The Gospel was prepared by a Jewish Christian, probably built on the work of Matthew and aimed at Jewish Christian converts. But this week, the mounting controversy, as we explore Matthew's Gospel again, we look at conflict, at the mounting controversy. The promised Messiah is not what the Jews expected. Tension emerged immediately with the religious leaders, the scribes, the priests, and the Pharisees, and it culminated in crucifixion. Once the Jews had lived mostly in Israel. The temple was the focus. The priests were authoritative. But with foreign conquest by the Assyrians, with captivity and destruction of the temple by the Babylonians, with the takeover by Alexander the Great, later the Romans, Jews now were scattered all over the known Mediterranean world. Even though the temple was rebuilt, destroyed again in 70 AD, but Judaism had changed. Now synagogue worship and study were more powerful than sacrifice in the temple. Rabbis were more prominent than priests. Scriptural interpretation took place in towns and villages all over the Mediterranean world. Now they were a people of the book. And in an effort to continue to be a different, distinctive holiness people, many were trying to be more righteous, more holy, more law-abiding than ever. So interpretations of the Mosaic law, because legalistic Pharisees became self-righteous, Jews more separate and distinct, it was trying to be a holiness culture. And this is the culture that Jesus confronted. So when in his hometown synagogue, Jesus mentioned that Elijah had healed a foreign woman, that Elisha had healed a general from Damascus, a Gentile, his townspeople were so furious they wanted to throw Jesus off the cliff. Laws about work on Sabbath had become rigidly interpreted by the Pharisees. How many steps you could walk on the Sabbath. Could you boil the water for lunch? No, not on Sabbath. So when Jesus healed on Sabbath, the religious legalists were furious. Well, you can imagine how angry Jewish leaders who kept the food laws rigorously, how angry they were when Jesus said, it's not what goes into your mouth, but what comes out of your mouth that leads to evil. When Jesus reached out to the marginalized, the foreigners, the hated, the Jewish leaders began to plot his death. For example, the Samaritans were hated. Jesus told the story of the Good Samaritan, and he also gave salvation to the Samaritan woman at the well. Levi, now Matthew, knew what it was like to be a hated tax collector. But Jesus said, other sheep I have who are not of this fold. So Matthew, a Jew, writing a gospel aimed to convert and encourage Jewish Christians, carefully showed that this Messiah did not come to bring a military victory over the Romans or to intensify Jewish nationalism and religious legalism, but rather to love, to heal, to forgive, and to accept all people with compassion and new life. This conflict resulted in leadership rejection by the Jewish leaders, and finally, crucifixion of Jesus, our Lord and our Messiah.